The time is 8:45 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here's the news edited by Nishant Tushara and read by Tilani Pires. The headlines. The Minister of Justice says the government will never interfere with the operations of the Elections Commission. The official reserves of Sri Lanka increased by 5%. The professionals call for a discussion with all trade unions about taxation. The civil organizations and trade unions emphasize that everyone should work together to build the country. And on international news, the British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak promises to tackle inflation and illegal migration. And on sports news, the second T20 international match between Sri Lanka and India is now being played at Pune, India. The Minister of Justice, Prisons Affairs and Constitutional Reforms, Dr. Vijayadasa Rajapaksa, told Parliament that the government will never interfere with the operations of the Elections Commission. The minister added the government will neither interfere with the activities of the Election Commission nor try to amend their agenda. The government has never reached such a decision and has not communicated to them of any such matter. He said that neither the government nor the Parliament has the power to amend any decision made by the Elections Commission and the National Election Commission, which is an independent body and must continue with its operations. There will be no interference from the government. Minister Rajapaksa was responding to concerns raised by the opposition leader Sajith Premadasa in Parliament. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka says the official reserve assets of Sri Lanka and at the end of December 2022 were at $1,896 million. This is an increase of 5% from the official reserve assets figure of $1,806 million in November 2022. The Association of Government Medical Officers says that taxation should be discussed with all trade unions. Its secretary, Dr. Haritha Alutge, said that he is not at all against a fair taxation system. He said this in a press conference held today in Colombo. He pointed out that if a tax policy is needed, it should be transparent and fair, and it should also have the principle of accountability. He noted that everyone should come to a fair solution together. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna says that it is inappropriate to go for an election in view of the crisis situation in the country. The Member of Parliament, Mr. Dilum Amanugama, told the media in Kandy that the priority task at the moment should be to lead the country towards development. It requires everyone's support. He also said that the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna is ready for the local government elections. The civil organizations and trade unions point out that the collapse of the country's economy is a political conspiracy. Its convener, Mr. Saman Ratnapire, states that there is no atmosphere in the country to hold an election. It causes inconvenience to the people. He points out that this could lead to struggles in the country again. He emphasized that all political parties and the people should work together to build the country now. That ends local news for now.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe emphasizes the significance of foreign service in order to safeguard the sovereignty of Sri Lanka. The President expressed these remarks while meeting 11 new ambassadors and high commissioners at the Presidential Secretariat. He further requested the newly appointed ambassadors and the high commissioners to be committed to obtain the most from foreign countries to build up the country. Establishing a good foreign policy is the main objective of the government. Economic, defense and climate change plans should be achieved. Achieving these goals depend on the foreign service of the country. Action should be taken to safeguard the rights of Sri Lankans. The President further mentioned that an office will be established to consider the political issues of the Sri Lankan diaspora. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
And on Watchlight tonight, the Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka says that the power cut schedule until Monday for 2 hours and 20 minutes was announced today. Accordingly, power shedding will be imposed in the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V and W areas for 1 hour during the day and 1 hour and 20 minutes during the night. That came to you in Watchlight. Continuing with world news and the headlines first. The British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak promises to tackle inflation and illegal migration. The Australian government invests more than $1 billion to buy new ammunition to enhance capability of the forces. The Peru police used tear gas to disperse protesters. The British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has promised to tackle the country's most serious problems, from cutting inflation and reducing illegal migration. The Prime Minister Sunak said his government would build a better future for their children and grandchildren. He listed 5 promises, including halving inflation, growing the economy, reducing debt, cutting National Health Service, waiting lists, and stopping the small boats that carry illegal migrants across the Channel from France. The Australian government has announced today that it will invest more than $1 billion to buy new naval missiles and other ammunition to enhance the capability of its forces. The government, in a statement, said it had signed a contract with an Australia-based defence industry to deliver the Naval Strike Missile. The missile will be deployed on the Hobart-class destroyers and Anzac-class frigates from 2024. The government will also acquire the land-based long-range surface-to-surface high-mobility artillery rocket system, which includes launchers, missiles and training rockets. In Peru, police used tear gas to disperse protesters trying to approach the Parliament Congress building yesterday. According to media reports, transport authorities reported 35 blockade points across the country. It said protesters marched in Lima and Arequipa and demanded the resignation of the current president, Dina Boluarte, and the closure of Congress. Back to the world news headlines. The British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak promises to tackle inflation and illegal migration. The Australian government invests more than $1 billion to buy new ammunition to enhance capabilities of the forces. The Peru police used tear gas to disperse protesters. That ends world news.
Development news.
A new bus service will commence between Chilau and Kathragama. The Chilau and Kathragama CTB depot will jointly operate this service. The bus service will start from Chilau at 5 a.m. and reach Kathragama at 3 p.m. Daily, that is. The bus service will start from Kathragama to Chilau at 11:30 a.m. daily. That came to you in Development News.
Sports news is brought to you by
Sampath Bank. We present your future.
And on sports news, the second T20 international match between Sri Lanka and India is now being played at Pune, India. India won the toss and decided to field first. Accordingly, Sri Lanka scored 206 runs for 6 wickets in 20 overs a short while ago. That came to you in sports news.
Let us turn this difficult time that we are facing now to a positive opportunity. We must rise up as a nation in 2023. NSB will extend its fullest support for you to rise with confidence. NSB, the safest place for you.
Business news, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The Commercial Bank of Ceylon has announced the enabling of Visa Direct and MasterCard Send card-based fund transfer facilities for the first time in Sri Lanka. With the latest digital initiative of Commercial Bank Visa and MasterCard Debit and prepaid cardholders can transfer funds to any locally issued Visa and MasterCard Debit credit or prepaid card through Commercial Bank's ATMs, CRMs and Q Plus payment app. The bank said the transfer of funds can be facilitated by just giving the card number and the amount, thus creating a new era of convenient two-step fund transfers in the country. That was Business News.
Business news, sponsored by National Savings Bank.
Let us turn this difficult time that we are facing now to a positive opportunity. We must rise up as a nation in 2023. NSB will extend its fullest support for you to rise with confidence. NSB, the safest place for you.
Economic news, courtesy of... For the 5th consecutive year, LOLC is awarded People's Financial Services Brand of the Year at the 2022 Slim Kantar People's Awards. As the People's Financial Services Brand of the Year, LOLC continues to place the customer first. And this has won the hearts, minds and trust of Sri Lankans, with yet another prestigious award as proof of this lasting commitment. LOLC, imagine the possibilities.
Facets Sri Lanka, the premier gem and jewellery show, is all set to commence on the 7th of January. Coming back from a 2-year break post-COVID, Facets Sri Lanka is one of the industry's largest promotional events. The premium edition of this world-class gem and jewellery show will be held from the 7th to the 9th of January at the Cinnamon Grand, Colombo, and will be open to visitors daily from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. That came to you in Economic News.
LOLC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 golds at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LOLC Finance claims the overall gold award, whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking.
Weather report.
The Department of Meteorology forecasts showers or thunder showers. We look at times in the northern, north central, eastern and Uva provinces and in Hambantota and Matala districts. Fairly heavy showers, about 50 millimeters, can be expected at some places in Trincomalee, Mullaitivu and Polonnaruwa districts. Fairly heavy showers above 75 millimeters can be expected at some places in the Sabaragama province and in Kalutara and Galle districts. The general public is requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during thunder showers. That was the weather report, and now to end this news broadcast, the main points once again. The Minister of Justice says the government will never interfere with the operations of the Elections Commission. The official reserves of Sri Lanka increased by 5%. The professionals call for a discussion with all trade unions about taxation. The civil organizations and trade unions emphasize that everyone should work together to build the country. And on international news, the British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak promises to tackle inflation and illegal migration. And on sports news, the second T20 international match between Sri Lanka and India is now being played at Pune, India. That ends this news broadcast.